what glasses I want to wear. I don't know if I like these as much as these. I like these better. These are better glasses. Those are okay, but these are better. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a couple people. I guess I'm gonna start with my day, like live going always does, and I want to say that maybe today it was a good day. We had a person that barbecued for us today because even though my job could be at times very maybe physically and mentally demanding, I guess we all do what we do because we like what we do. And at the end of the day, we all have each other's back. Some of my biggest supporters literally are all my people from work. I've been there for such a long time. And honestly, I got lots of choices now. With the economy going as it is and medical just all of a sudden become important after COVID, I'm I'm kind of contemplating on whether I should do be a med passer or go to the hospital and be a patient tech. I don't know. There's a lot of choices for me right now, but I'm going through things. My one resident, she passed today. Well, actually, it wasn't today. It was like a day or two ago, and it was sad because I guess I get a little bit too attached to my residents. People say this is a bad thing, but I kind of do get attached to my residents a little bit too much. But she died today, and it made me really, I don't know, just thinking about life. She was one of the main reasons I actually am on YouTube because I had no clue what to do when I first came over here. And I know I used to knit when I worked at this one nursing home. And she showed me and reply, how to knit and stuff. And that's how I started actually gaining subscriptions, as crazy as that sounds. I would just sit there and I'd be knitting. And she was old school, so she showed me she was a crocheter, but came over here and learned to knit. Huh? Yeah. Just put your question in the stream. Yeah, that's why I do that and have the question just so you don't like if I see the question I'll answer it. I just try to fill the time up. There's some really good live streamers over on Facebook, so they fill the time slot with things they do through the day. And I figured this does count as something. And I think everybody got tired of watching me knit, so I'm glad I make everybody happy with the cards. So, how does this work? I'll just put your question you want, like a pathway reading. I can, if you want insights on a question, I see like symbolism and things like that. I don't, nobody can read people's thoughts. This isn't a mind scanner movie. I mean, it is reality. Sometimes people see symbolism in things that they perceive. I see symbolism in sometimes intentions, but I don't know willful thoughts. But I can tell which path they're on, and I feel every empath is sensitive to energy through wormholes. I've been studying things because I like to foresee things and know the truth. And I really do. And I don't believe the sci-fi movies, and I don't believe every psychic out there. And I wanted to see why sometimes I was able to see different symbolisms than other people can. So I just can see pathways and maybe your question, but it's up to you ultimately to find the answer. So I guess that's kind of how it works. That's all I can see. So, I mean, some other people can see other stuff, but I think that's why it makes one person more unique than another. So, I mean, that's just my personal belief because I try to keep things in truth. All right. Okay, hang on. I'm trying to get better at these questions. All right. Okay, you want a love path reading, Emily. We're going to call these just path readings because I don't know. I'm not trying to discredit all the other psychics, but I just don't see how they know people's thoughts. But I could see that I would believe they see numbers. But Chong, would you stop licking me? Stop. I love you, Chong. Chong, stop. Stop. Stop licking me. Stop. Stop. Here, chew your bone. My dog loves licking. I know. I love you too, Chong. Chong, I'm trying to work. This is why I can't never come on stream when I can. Here, Chong, I'll give you some treats. Hang on, I gotta give him something. Here. Here, this has lamb and rice. Okay. He got his bark box treats. But I did have exciting news today. Dogs for rehoming. I actually thought I was famous enough to offer me some dash hounds for rehoming. And I just told them I would ask around because I don't have like an addition put on my house for puppies right now. Which I wish I did. Because I would love to foster dogs. I think that would be awesome, but these dash hounds look very, very cute. Chong, I'm trying to work. Chong, stop. Stop. I get it. We'll go out in a little bit. It's hot. Would you stop, Chong? Chong, stop. Do I gotta put a sweater on? Go. Anyways, these dash hounds look cute as hell. But people and I get dogs for families over there too. If you want to, actually, I've been that in the animal shelter. I've been doing a couple things there, and I don't know. It feels like our mission's finally going somewhere. All right, Chong, I get it. I love you too. I know, I know, I know. You can't be in every stream, Chong. I know you want to have the walking streams all the time, but you can't every day. My dog always wants a walking stream. Alright, Chomp, stop. I'm trying to do this. You're so distracting. I love you, but you're so distracting. You got all these big bones and everything. Anyways, your love reading. You got a new moon in Gemini. And that's not bad. That's where you're at with your love path. And that's just a communication card. And that's good because communication. Would you stop, Chong? is the key to a lot of things. Chong, I don't want you licking me. That's gross. I don't know why you gotta lick armpits. He licked my brother's armpits and he ended up throwing up. And we had like an ongoing joke because he was coming back from a basketball game. I told him he should wear better deodorant. Stop! I don't like that. Chong, there you go. Clean yourself. And anyways, in this you have a full moon in Virgo and you have a full moon in Sagittarius. I guess with your love path, there's a little self doubt. Chong, stop. Please and thank you. There's a little self doubt, and full moon in Virgo literally just is. It's not a bad thing. It just means they want your self confidence to be up. Because sometimes you deal with these men, if you're not strong and you don't have self confidence, they run right over you. They really do. It's terrible, and men can be like that. So you want to be. You don't want to be on the defensive. You always want to be on the offensive. That's how it is. And especially if you're a woman. Would you stop, Chong? Don't make me get the sprayer out. Go. Lay down. He don't like the squirt bottle. I squirt him like a cat. But anyways, you want to be on the offensive with these men. Because, I mean, you got a relationship's a lot of things. I mean, sex is only one little part of it. You got financial, the social, and then to be a life partner is sometimes draining. If it's the wrong person, it can really mess your life up, I guess. Because I've had mine messed up like twice because of issues like this. So that's what that card is just saying. Just to give, letting you to know to have a lot of self confidence. And then you're surrounded by a full moon in Sagittarius. And that's just saying, look at more possibilities. Because the more you self empower yourself, the better your choices get. Usually, if you're not seeking somebody, is when they're going to come in. People that are really good men out there that got their life together generally date people that are trying to get their life together. And then what I would call the wolves in sheep's clothing, they're the ones that always are coming around and trying to give you a good time, and they think that life is never ending without them. So I guess that's all. Your love reading is just, you are going to have a lot of options. I do foresee there's going to be soon options, but there's going to be some of those that are lying to you. And you have to know the difference between the lying and the truth. And sometimes if you get caught up in the moment with a nice looking guy, and you're not thinking with your right mind, you'll believe them. I have a couple friends at work like this. And she picks these awful men. She has to work like literally, gosh, almost 60 hours a week. And no one helps her out with her kids, even her baby's dad, and it's horrible. So these are things that you really kind of got to think about in life, and that's all the cards are telling you. And it's not bad because with these choices, generally there's 3 or 4 really good looking people that are going to try to date you. And then you're going to have a couple people that maybe are standoffish. And you got to evaluate your possibilities in the territory. And like I said, I was raised in a military family, so it's really easy. And people that move with intelligence, they think this way. And you want intelligent people that have some kind of self-respect, because generally they'll keep you more balanced. And anybody could be intelligent, it's if they apply it. So, I mean, that's just, I guess, just life experience I've had that I'm passing on to you. Because life sometimes sucks and people in it a lot of times are horrible. They really are. People do not want to see you succeed most of the time. Sometimes even your own family. They might say they support you, but that doesn't mean they truly do. And this is even happening to me now. The people that support me the most are my coworkers with even my social media. Because the whole building is a part of my Chong group. And then all my friends, I mean, I did get 6,000 people, but it's kind of started with my whole entire building at work. And not hardly any of my family supported me. They always are the ones that'll be the most negative to you. So I do see good things coming. I do see a lot of men coming, but I wouldn't get too excited about the really good looking ones. Because the really good looking ones that are trying to be too much are probably the ones that are going to deceive you the most. Which most good looking people know they're good looking and they do this kind of activity. And this is absolutely true. My first husband was not overly good looking, he was average. So, and I like it better that way because I think a lot of times the good looking people know what they can get away with. Because we have one of these friends and he has slept with a lot of women. And the way they talk about it before, sometimes when we lived at the other house and he would come over, it was terrible. And he would say, "Oh, she should have known better. She got it." It's like, okay, but he would do anything to get sex. It was crazy. And he was like an Italian, he's like an Italian stallion. But I just, if you really got to know him and his true intentions, they're always not that good. And and he was dating this one girl for like over a year. And I even asked him why he was with her. And he just said he just likes the way that she has sex with him. And he could care less about her other than that. And I was like, oh my God. I go, that's terrible. He goes, not like I'm going to marry her or nothing, but he let her on for the longest time and they're still on and off. He even got a business and everything else, and they still sleep together. She's allowed to stay over, but he don't have any rights to the house. And if she gets pregnant, he demands a morning after pill. Even before, and he will not have any. He doesn't not want to get trapped in it with the baby. But he never tells this to people. But he's very suave. So these are the people you have got to watch for. And that's why I call them the wolves in sheep's clothing. Because these are the ones at the bar that will buy you a bunch of drinks, talk to their friends, and tell you how they're going to have sex with you. And then when they do, sometimes they take pictures, from what I've heard, and they spread it around and they make fun of you sometimes. And that's how that goes in life. And I've seen that and I've lived that. I wasn't me personally, but it was people I knew. And I felt bad for them. I guess I've learned from other people my whole life, so I don't have to make these mistakes. But I feel bad because I feel if you spend your 20s and 30s with the wrong person, by the time you hit your 40s and 50s, it's like, what are you supposed to do? Your whole life date? It's exhausting to date. It really is. Just to find somebody that you could trust enough to live in a house, trust your finances with, put a portfolio together, it takes time. And all the running around and switching people all the time, you got to start all over. Yeah, my throat is killing me. My sinuses are still bothering me bad. I told my one nurse friend that helped fix me the rest of the way because I refused to go to the hospital. I call her a doctor. And I tell her she's the smartest person in the building, and she always corrects me. She goes, I'm going to keep correcting you because I have to for my license. I'm not a doctor. But she really saved me like 3 times from going to hospital. And she's awesome. She actually helped my ear problems. If you guys have ear problems out there all the time and you got bad sinuses, she says that to take like Mucinex or allergy pills because I have allergies and sinuses, and your ear infections will get better. I was on the verge of an ear infection, and they get expensive to treat. And to save a trip to the hospital, she just gave me this medicine and she treated my sinuses and stuff, and it was my ear infection went away. And doctors don't tell you this because they want to take your money. I found that out from the nurses too. I know it's like not exciting information, but if you have little kids out there and they have a lot of allergies, and sometimes if you have the care source and everything, you can go there and they'll just give your kids like amoxicillin or something. But if you treat their allergies, you don't have to keep going back there and keep calling off work to go and take your kids to the hospital all the time. Because the babies will cry when they have ear infections because they could be painful. It's just I have a high pain tolerance. So I just like to tell that people that have kids because we see a lot of people in the hospital, especially when they have little babies. And they're always bringing them in for like fevers, seasonal allergies, and then their ears get infected. And the babies are up all night crying and screaming. So that's one way of, I guess, being able to work more and not being going through umpteen hospital trips and having a 2-year old with a fever that screams and doesn't stop. You can give them like children's allergy medicine and stuff, and it helps. Babies, they have that little sucky thing that goes in their nose, and then you suck out the mucus and stuff. You have to do that for little small babies. And then when they get older, obviously you tell them to blow their nose. I used to do pediatric nursing when I was younger, like an assistant type thing. And I used to go all their doctor's appointments and everything. I'd have to suck out the mucus sometimes. They'd be in the vents, and then we had to make sure that they were okay because a lot of times they had shunts and different stuff. Which was interesting because when I started that job, my first question to them was, what do I do when the parents come? And they said they don't have any parents. Generally, some people just abandon their children when they're sick or handicapped. And I was like, why would anybody ever do this? And my boss, she told me it's because they don't care. And kid you not, these parents did not care. We were their parents. And she even told me, she goes, you're their parents. She goes, we're all their parents. I'm like, oh. I think when I had that job, I was spending more of my husband's money buying snack boxes on Amazon. And then I spent that $400 a month. I want to say 100 of it went for those big boxes snacks. And I would buy little things for. I had this one little boy, Jarrell, that called me his vanilla mama. and he would go over there, and I'd always forget the code to the door. So he knew it, and he'd remind me. But the one day he yelled out the code to the door, and I looked at him, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" I go, "We were supposed to keep that a secret." He goes, "I did. There was only 3 people around." It was so funny. I just kept laughing. I thought it was so funny. They ended up keeping the same code because they thought it was hilarious. But I started this job, and it really made me sad, I guess, because I don't know how people could just leave their children, even if their children are in a wheelchair. Because I bathed them every day before school, took care of them, and I did let them listen to the rap music. Our administrator, he got an award for the city and stuff, but he was very old school. So I would sometimes I would sneak him Wiz Khalifa or something, because he doesn't cuss too much. But the only thing that the administrator didn't like was he talked about weed. So generally, when he left or whatever, and they come back home from school and we do their showers, when he left, we just put on the music they wanted to listen to. But he ended up dying on me, and it was sad. They ended up paying me to go to the funeral. That's when I got that really expensive deer skin jacket from this guy that was working there. He was a cleaning guy. He was a Cherokee Indian, or not Indian, Native American. I am sorry that I know that I need to stop saying Indian because it's very disrespectful. People, they don't like being called that. So, but yeah, he gave me this coat, and it's really nice, and that I got that from the funeral because he felt so bad for me. He said it would look nice on me. But when he died, I would nobody wanted to come get me. He had problems, I guess, apparently when you're really ill, your esophagus and things twists, and sometimes you could choke. So this is how he died. And it was very sad for me. I do still have one of his paintings that he made. He used to like to paint, and I kept it. I think helped me shape who I am today, so I don't regret working that job. I want to say it was one of my more favorite jobs. I feel everything we do in life kind of shapes us for what we're going to be later on. And I think it helped me realize how important humanity was working with unwanted children. And I've always helped unwanted animals, so and I would like a place. My husband was joking around with me, "What do you want to be like Michael Jackson in Wonderland?" And I really would like to have a zoo. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's a good idea, but I would love to be like that, where Michael Jackson had that huge zoo. But that's not really cost effective or helping. But if I can have at least enough land to have buildings and have foster places for animals for rehoming, and just have cameras going through the whole place, then if I at least got enough to where I can finance a place like that, then maybe donations from Facebook and YouTube could help pay for the food and stuff for these dogs and cats that need a home, because people they're really mean. And the stories and Dogs for Families, I just found out today, is over on Facebook. And they follow me over there. And I think they're wonderful. I'm always talking about them over here because I think they're like a great group of people, but they're over there too. A lot of people that like the groups, like the major groups from Facebook, are over here, and I never knew this. I probably should have. I just been so involved with trying to get Creator of the Week and just focus on small goals I've always had. I forgot to like research these things. But that's who called. That was another group about the Dash Hounds. But I want to get one of these Maine Coons. They got a Maine Coon society that I'm involved in over there. And these cats look like little lions, and they get to about 100 pounds. And there's some famous actors that have these, and I can get one for free. They actually would give me one of these for free. And I think that's so cool that I'm important enough to where I can get one of these. But like I was telling my husband, I would rather raise one of those Maine Coons with a puppy. So I'm gonna wait, and they get pretty big. So whatever a lion would eat, because I think a lion can have like meat and different things. So whatever you'd feed a big dog, you'd feed the Maine Coon. But they look very nice, and I would probably get one for the fur to match my dog. I think that would be cool. I know I could take my dog with me everywhere because he's my service dog, but I don't know if I can make a Maine Coon a service animal. I may. I don't know if I could test the limits, but I think I may. I know you can do a cat, so I may do a try to get a Maine Coon, get a puppy, another service dog after something. If what depending, I might get another. I might have two service dogs and get a Maine Coon for maybe emotional support animal. But they're nice. They are so nice, but they can climb up trees and everything. They're really good at it. They're really good climbers. This is what I hear about them. But let me get a question here. Sometimes these things go through, sometimes they don't. Okay. So, Garav Gamer, tell me about when I get when I get got girlfriend. All right. Do you want? I'm just gonna give you a pathway reading about your girlfriend because I tell you, I work with a lot of women, and honestly, I don't know you. I would just be friends with a bunch of girls and then decide which one you like. Some of these women and young girls at work are ruthless. And a lot of them, I don't know, they're very materialistic. And they really like food a lot. So you're going to be buying expensive food for these guys. And I don't know, you're going to have to at least have a suitable income. I would think. I hear how these 20-year-olds talk. I think they're great. They tell me how sick they are all the time. I tell them I'm 50 and I can move around more than they can. And they told me the 25 is the new 50. So I don't know. These girls are not very sometimes hopeful here. And I work with all the 20 and 30-year-olds in the world. So I love them to death, but sometimes they could be crazy. And they're like old ladies. And you would think I would be that like that more than them. I'm more youthful than they are. But your love life right now, my friend, is in North Node. And this is, I guess, where you have to do something like a variety and something different in your life than what you were doing. That's all North Node means. And there's, I guess, certain things do make people uncomfortable. I have had to do a couple things in my life. that I felt uncomfortable, like public speaking, when I took speech class when I was younger. It was horrible. It was around the time President Clinton, the second term, came to my college, and I had to get in front of the class of like 300 people. And I had to give a speech, and it was a debate. And I had to step out of my comfort zone, and I think I would have rather jumped out of a window and killed myself before doing this, but I did it. So sometimes you gotta do stuff for love. And you got a new moon in Gemini, which is a communication key. Women like to know what you're thinking and your true intentions of them. Because women don't want to wonder. Because all day women wonder about how they don't think they look good, and they wonder about what you're wondering about. There's an old meme about that. But yeah, they do. That's what they wonder about, and they get in their heads because they think you may reject them. But this is what women do, and then they talk to other women and they get empowered. But you're dealing with a gender that does this, so you gotta be mindful of that. Women could be, it's not that they're being condescending, it's they empower themselves around a community of women. Even if it's blood or not blood, this is what women do. And I've realized these are truths I've realized in my entire life, because when women empower themselves around me, even if I'm trying to stay in my own damn lane, all of a sudden I got three people talking to me. And I didn't even ask. I was hoping that they wouldn't, and they're just there. So this is what happens. And I'm just letting you know because you're a man. And men don't know this, but this is what goes on in circles of women. So some men do it also, but not to the degree of women. This is why I cannot get rid of my social groups. And that's why I can't get rid of any of my groups on Facebook, because most of them are just, they're social groups for my friends from work. So it is what it is. They let me know if my reels are going bad or going good. Lately, they've been telling me that it's good. But you're also surrounded by a void, of course, moon also. I feel you're going to find someone to have sex with. And there will be a time period, but you're going to be excited and they may leave. And then I see two choices. And there's going to be one. I don't know if you're going to sleep with them both, but you're going to sleep with at least one of them, and one is going to like back out and just not want to be here forever, and one is. So that's what I'm seeing there, and it's because of communication. So one is just to communicate better with the one, and the other is it's a one ended. It's like a going down a one-way street. So I guess watch out for those. But you will have two choices soon. I'm thinking maybe 2-3 months generally. The course of a circle usually goes in human years. Because the other realm, from what I'm told, runs fast motion. And 1 hour to us is like years to them. That's what I hear in scientific terms, so I don't know. It's what you choose to believe in the world. I wish I could have a book to tell me all the secrets of the universe, but I don't. And I really wish I did. This is why I struggle every day for scientific information and to know more than I know. I guess I've always been kind of like that. I just literally I love knowledge. Knowledge is. I was always raised with that commercial knowledge is power, and I was always a bookworm, and I was always a nerd. Also, I liked Revenge of the Nerds because I was a nerd. I barely wore makeup when I was younger. I was really skinny. I had no boobs. And I wasn't thinking about any men because I just wanted to read books. And this is all I did in Catholic school. That's all I did. I read my books, I got my good marks, and I got out. Then I figured I could figure the rest out later. But I wish I could have a more exciting existence. But I guess the most exciting part of my existence is I'm good with paperwork. This really is the most exciting part of my existence. I'm good with computer work and paperwork. This is why my my boss offered me med classes because I'm not paying $40,000 to be a nurse when they're starting to phase out LPNs and they want RNs now. So they offered me the med passing classes, and I do have Monday through Thursday off now, and I have enough to where I wouldn't have to study all the time. But then I can leave the corporation I'm at and go work at the hospital. They got better health insurance. They have really good dental, so I could finish up all my dental stuff and just get all that done. And I don't got to be saving up money for this and that, having the worst health insurance ever. So it's a lot for me to think about, I guess. It really is. But then a thought occurred to me also when I was getting all these offers of free trading was maybe, possibly, I would get a couple bucks from Facebook or Instagram because I don't think I'm getting any money from here for a long while. And I've already accepted this and I'm okay with it. I really am. I know I have to practice and I know I need to know how to be a more diligent live streamer. And I got to figure out my style of live streaming on top of that. I mean, I got a lot on my plate. But then I want to pursue my medical also. So I really want to try to. I can go out of my comfort zone and go to the hospital and work with people I don't know. And go to this class and not have any kind of clout. Or I could stay where I'm at and become a med passer. But then they say that the corporation is running to the ground because the Browns training camps near there. And they think the owner is going to sell it for property and then just move all the residents. So I got to think about this too because I do like medical and I do like going and I do like seeing gross things in medical. I like looking at wounds. I don't know why. I do. It doesn't bother me. I could look at the nastiest wound in the world and go eat lunch. This is how medical people can be very gross at times. I'm not gonna lie, it just freaks out my husband sometimes because I'll be sitting there and he'll be, I can't eat. You're talking about this, and I'm like, it was really cool. And he gets crazy about it because he works in the food industry, and apparently they don't talk about the gross things that we do. And to us, it's another day on the job, and he thinks it's disgusting, but then he'll come to me when he burns himself in the kitchen wanting me to bandage him up because he don't want to go to the hospital. And he goes, oh, here he got my nurse. And I'm thinking the disgruntled nurse, after he sits there and he'll like, would you talk to your patients like that? And I was like, well, they're not you, and they bitch less. Because he sit there bitches about how I touched it too much, putting the medicine on and crazy stuff. But I guess that's marriage. And medical people try to distract you. And if it's something as painful, they try to distract you to get it done quick so you don't realize it and it's done. That's what we're geared to do. And that's what works a lot when you're sick. Especially when you got to re-break an arm to you got to re-break an arm sometimes to set it so it does right. The doctor is not going to tell you he's going to re-break your arm. The doctor is going to sit there and talk to you and ask you how your day is, just like I am. And he'll find out your interests, like if you play softball. Oh, are you in softball games? And as you're talking about your softball game, he's going to break your arm. This is what medical people do. That's why a lot of times I keep my ass at home unless I really need them and I'm dying. Because I already know what they're gonna make my ass do up in that hospital, and if I literally cannot do it myself, I will keep my ass at home and have some Civil War medicine going on. And I don't need a whole lot of painkillers. I want to get the deed done. And if I have a little pain for a little bit, that's fine. Because I feel the pain. If you feel pain, you know you're hurt. And you know where it hurts, so you know where to assess the damage. And here's a scam or her. I don't understand why these scammers waste their whole entire day calling people. I would want to. I don't know if I would question my existence if I had to call people and beg for money all day. When you have all these possibilities of MedPass or RN, online schooling, you have all these options in life, and these guys literally will call you. And then they get excited because they took, I don't know, a couple dollars out of your account and a couple dollars out of someone else's. I don't know. To me, I feel if you didn't earn it, it's dirty money. That's why I come up here, do my tarot cards and everything else, because I understand that it takes money to help dogs and stuff. And you got to give something to get something in the world. So I feel if you guys enjoy the tarot cards reading, it's my way of giving. Because, I mean, why would you tune in if you're not getting anything in return? I mean, it's simple basics of business here. And that's how I feel. That's why when someone subscribes to me that's a YouTuber, I subscribe back and I don't unsubscribe because I feel it's work courtesy. Because everybody, has their end goal in life. If you're on their live stream, you're live streaming to get money for something. It's for yourself, your kids, or just living, or just to be able to eat and pay your bills, or whatever. But you should still be providing a service. So this is why I do it, and I feel that maybe everybody learns from each other. I learn from a lot of people. I really do. I always watch live streamers all the time. I watch Non-Confidential when he goes over on Facebook, and he's a pretty good live streamer too. Some of these rap people are pretty good at live streaming. They're very smooth talkers. So I try to study them to see maybe there's something I could do a little better. But then again, they're doing more things. Like they're able to do exciting things of like exciting songs. And then they got weed lines and this and that going on. And I'm not sure if I'm ever going to do that. I just want a happy little dog paradise. I want to make a little dog village where I rehome dogs. This is all I want. Chong the dog village. That's it. I just want a little village, like little houses like the guy in Poland has. There's this guy literally in Poland. And he made a whole little village of little tiny houses, and he puts like two, three dogs in there, and these tiny houses. I don't think any heavyset people could live there because it's this kind of smaller quarters. But if you're average size, you could live in there with the dog. But and they have this little village, and these dogs. He has like over 100 dogs, and he keeps them and teaches them how to live in a house. And they have a tiny yard. It's tiny house living over in this Poland village, and I like his ideas. He's a veterinarian, and whatever money he makes, he actually gives back. He's on Facebook all the time and Instagram, and he gives back whatever money he makes from those two. He gives to this dog village, and he rehomes like 200-300 dogs a month. And they just have these little tiny houses with electricity and everything. And he had little every house made with electricity and everything that when they get rehomed, where they'll have to live and how they're going to have to act. And those little tiny homes are their cages. So I think he has really good ideas, especially in the dog world. And I feel that maybe I can even to teach those dogs to like cats, or maybe a family's cats. We can add a cat to one of those huts. And me and Chong, of course, we live in the middle of the village. And then I would have all my cameras set, and I can have three. One for, because I have more than one live stream camera. I got one for Instagram, one for Facebook. I got one over here, and I think that's it. I don't have one for TikTok, but I'm not even sure what's going on with TikTok. So I don't know. It is what it is at that point. But I can have three live streaming cameras going on all of my different networks, and everybody would be interested because no one has a dog village anywhere except for this man in Poland that I think is the coolest person on the planet. Then there's this guy. I put in my Chong group over on Facebook. Oh my god, he sounds Russian, and oh my god, I forgot where he's at. I think Bosnia or something. But he's awesome. He said he made a connection. He went to in Bosnia. He's in Bosnia. In Bosnia, he made a connection with this dog. He looked into his eyes and he said that the dog, he's seen the dog's soul. So he goes in there and he wanted to get them, and then he wanted to get all of them. So he bought a lot of land in Bosnia. He must have been like a wealthy military person or something. I'm not sure. But this guy in Bosnia, he bought like a farm thing. And he put big fences around, and he took every dog from the dog shelter, took care of them. He even had a veterinarian clinic built. And he put these big fences, so I guess he did make himself a dog village. And it was enough to house like 200 dogs. Then he liked it so much, and he had so many people helping him out in his dog village that he bought more land, and he made another dog village in Bosnia. And literally, it's just for a place for the dogs that don't have a place to be forever. And then if they could stay there and live there in their little dog village forever, because he had like a whole bunch of like places for them to stay, or sometimes they got adopted out, but they only went to good people or just stayed there. And I kind of would like, I like his idea too. I shared his video over there. He's on Instagram. And he's awesome. He has like over 400 dogs now in Bosnia. And it's lovely. The guy in Poland, I think, has like 400. I'm not 400. I think he has 200 or 300 dogs that he takes at one time. He trains them, makes sure they get all their stuff, and then rehomes them, and then he gets another one in. And then he just keeps doing this, and it's a healthy process. And in Hawaii, they started, which I really like this idea. You know, when kids do stupid things and they have to go on probation and little things. Well, anyways, all the kids that like are doing stuff, they have them go to dog shelters and they have them go take the dogs and bring them for a walk, and it just so people know that they're up for adoption. So they have all these kids on whatever service because they did some bad things, spray painted or whatnot. And they walk them around Hawaii, and then people decide if they want to go to the shelter and adopt them. And all the dogs got their walks, and some of them got homes because they would say, "Oh, well, your dog's so cute," and you could say, "Oh no, I'm walking this doggy for the shelter. He's up, he or she's up for adoption." So that could be kind of like my Chong the Dog village. I could have volunteers going around walking the dogs and bring them back to the village. So that's what I'm thinking. I think it's good ideas here. And I do enjoy good ideas. And then, of course, there's the ice cream truck, but instead of ice cream, it has dog treats. And there's a lady that does that on Instagram. She has a little actual vehicle that you would go and make food for food vendors, but it has all dog supplies. I told my husband if I got popular enough and was able to get my dog village and stuff, I would like to get one of those and have Chong in the little ice cream truck with me that has all dog supplies and give out free stuff. I thought it'd be nice for promotional stuff, and it could be to for the dog village. And how people could even visit the damn dog village. But of course, I'd have high profile security because I'd probably have a lot of big dogs in that dog village. Because they seem to be the most vulnerable because people are meaner to them. They get the most abuse, and I guess the second or third time they bite, they get put to sleep. So it'll probably be a big dog village. So I really got my hands filled with this whole thing going on. But this is far in the future because you got to buy land and things. So it'll probably be 5 years out. But that's literally what I'm spending my money on. And I'll have a house built right in the middle just so I know everything's okay. So I might as well just live in there at that point because I have to have a place to live. So I might as well live in the dog village. And I'd have really good protection. I'll have all these dogs with their little houses ready to come in. I'll have my little guard dogs all the time. So I'll be okay. And I think I would feel a little better about life in general, like I'm doing something, if I lived in the dog village. So, but things like this do make me happy. I don't know why, but it is who I am. I like to do abstract, weird things. I always have. All right, we found about your girlfriend when you get one. Okay, all these messages got restricted. Would the guy be African American? Is this from the reading I did yesterday? I mean, I did see a shadow. I think you were on yesterday. It sounds familiar, but I did see a shadow, and sometimes I don't see skin color. I just sometimes just see the hair if it's far, like a couple months out or something. It fades out more. It is in the future. That's the problem. And that's the problem why nobody should ever charge for one of these, because the more far out you see, the more blurry the vision gets. So it might be. I mean, if you fancy them, it might be somebody that comes. I don't know. So, but I'm gonna go take my little break and get my tea and stuff. And it's only 6:30, and he says he's gonna probably be home late because it's Friday. So I'm gonna come on probably from 7 to 8 next. And then after that, he's probably going to be grouchy and hot in that kitchen after cooking for a whole dinner session. And then he interrupts and makes it so loud for me to live stream, period. Because he has all kinds of interesting stuff going on. But I would live stream with him blabbing, but the thing is, he plays YouTube music. So it's in direct violation of a lot of rules. So, but you guys would enjoy his conversations because my husband's crazy, especially when he's gaming. He's always saying, because he plays Survivor and DVD, and he's always talking about eat my cocoa ass and this and that. He's a psychopath sometimes when he's playing video games. You guys probably'd enjoy it. I did stream him when I was on Instagram while he was streaming. They allow a stream within a stream. They do. Over here, no, because it has to be a single stream, which I get. Oh, hello. How are you? Well, this is like the third time. You must like me. I'm used to people respecting me, but sometimes people don't like me because I'm always the person you see with paperwork or something that you really need, that I'm there, and then just we don't talk anymore. Usually that I'm that person. Yeah, you can get a reading. Yeah, that's why sometimes it's kind of strange being over here. I'm used to me being the person that takes care of your business and fixes your life, but then we don't talk afterwards. Over here, we talk again. It's like it's a different animal. It really is. But being a solitary person, these things don't bother me at all. I guess I should be more sociable in my life. That's why my friends think that live streaming is helping me, because I should be more sociable. So, oh, well, thank you. I try to be. I take care of sick people. I see people in their worst, and I'm grateful that I'm able to walk around and go to the bathroom and I'm not on a hospital bed for the rest of my life, because I seen one of my patients today since I float around. He's younger than me, of course. And the crazy thing is, and he's like 40 years old, sitting there with MS, and he was an engineer and everything. Great guy. I was feeding him and stuff, and he has a private room, a private aide, and a bunch of stuff. And when his aide goes, we feed him. And the thing is he's 10 years younger than me, and his whole life's over. And I think to myself, why do some people have their whole life over and some people don't? I guess that's the question between karma and God. And I struggle with that every day, because he has a little girl and a wife and a gorgeous house and $1 million house, actually. And he's sitting in a private room in a nursing home right now. It's sad. So, I don't know. Why has the one you got was restricted, and I don't know why they're doing this. Alright, why has he blocked me on Instagram when he loves me? Alright, you want to know why this guy's blocking you when he loves you? Are you sure he loves you? He may not love you. Okay, I'm just saying. People like that, if they're doing that, I don't know if I would trust them. Oh, well, if you're sure, I mean, you gotta be careful. This world is full of wolves in sheep's clothing. I'm not trying to say he doesn't or does, but you gotta be careful. I've seen a lot of dishonest people that lie. A lot of people lie about a lot of stuff. And I could catch a lie in just 2 seconds, and it helps growing up military because my dad was a military and he interrogated people through the war, and he was the number one interrogator. And I tell you, a lot of people lie. Almost everybody lies, and it's terrible. And it makes me sad in the world. That's why I want to live in a dog village, my friend. Maybe you could be my volunteer in the dog village. You and this love of yours. Alright. You got a full moon in Libra for your love path with him. And that just means that it's a win-win situation. Nobody loses. And it's surrounded by a full moon in Taurus and a full moon in Gemini. And it's talking about Taurus is about practical plans. And that's generally money and trying to get your stuff together. So about future plans and money. So there's not enough for his future plans. He has to work and earn more money to get more stuff that he wants, because he wants a lot of stuff, this one. And your love path here is a full moon in Gemini, which is good. It just means the truth is coming. Geminis don't lie. They may be assholes at times, but they will tell you the truth. So will an Aries. It's the sign of the sign. So I feel there might be a couple money issues, but I feel he lashes out when he doesn't think he's doing as good. So, like my mom used to tell me when I was growing up, those people keeping up with the Joneses, people that want to try to feel like they're better, or they're like that rich person down the street and they blow all their money to look like they have money, because in turn they are kind of jealous instead of just going to the hand-me-down store and just being happy for what they have. So those kind of people I call keeping up with the Joneses. That's how we used to refer to them. Because the thing is those rich people down the street are probably going to a secondhand store them damn selves and paying half off. Because every rich person I know is cheap. And I will tell you that. I know a lot of rich people. A lot. Most of all my friends are rich. I'm talking like millions in the bank rich. So, and they get everything half price. So, just because you're rich don't mean you gotta flaunt it, and some people are like this. So, what should I do towards him? I wouldn't leave him. I would make him self aware of who you are, and you want financial stability, because at any time, if you guys are having sex, you could have a baby. We all know this. It's human anatomy. This is, you're an adult, you have sex. But the thing is after that sex, who's going to take care of the baby if you get pregnant? So I would make him accountable for what he was. Tell him to put down a practical plan. Say, if you want to be with me, yes, you love me, but what are we going to do if this or that happens? And just start literally just laying down what kind of, you got to start putting boundaries down. If you don't put boundaries down with people, they'll step all over you. Everyone has different expectations what they want out of marriage or relationship. If you want a financial partnership that will provide for a child, you have got to tell them this. And start slow, give him a chance, and if he tells you he's doing this or that and we're gonna save up and do this, say okay, that's fine, and take it slow and see where it goes, because he could get his shit together and do really well. You never know. Or he can show you his true colors and be real fake. But that's how you sniff out somebody that's lying to you or deceitful. You call them out on it. So that's kind of where you got to be with people. And this shows that you're not going to sit there and put up with him lying or any bullshit at the same token. Because you're saying, I'm being truthful, this is going out, and I'm doing this, and I want this in my life, and I love you, but I may have to love another person if you cannot do this for me. And sometimes you gotta let a bad apple go out of the batch. If it's spoiled and rotten and nasty, who wants to eat it? That's kind of generally what a bad person does. They spoil everything. And then it gets all moldy and nasty and you gotta throw away the whole batch. So instead of throwing him in the garbage, maybe just put him aside and tell him that he needs to fix himself. You can't be blocking me on Instagram. It's like, if you didn't want to talk to me, you say you want some time to yourself, you text me like a normal person from my phone and you say I need some time to think on my own and that's it. And then every once in a while they shoot you a text. This is what people do that care about you. You don't sit there and say you love someone and then block them on Instagram and this and that and then want something out of them. It don't work that way. They either want you for what you are and your self worth, or they don't. And that's okay if he doesn't, because if he doesn't react in a mature manner, then most likely he has other women he's doing that with also to try to find the right one. And now men will sometimes play games with you to take money from you. And then if they get sex in the meanwhile, that's even better because they'll go ahead and have sex with other people and have sex with you and take your money. And men are the how women used to be when I was growing up. Women used to be that way. They would just look at a man and just take him for their money. Men are doing that to women now. Everything is reversed in 20 years. So you got to be careful about that too. Because I feel that you're a good person that has their life together and has good energy. And men are just awful like women used to be at times. There's some good men, but there's some really bad men. And they're doing to us what we used to do to them. Tit for tat is what they used to say. So it's not good to be caught in a path of deception, and not to be caught in a path of deception is to send your boundaries and tell them what your boundaries are and stick to them and don't give up. I was in a relationship and this guy literally he was talking to 2, 3 other people and I broke up with him and then he goes, "Oh, can I have one last kiss?" And I was like, "Are you effing kidding me?" I walked away from him and I started laughing in his face. And it was the best decision I ever made. Never walked back and never cared. And I was glad I walked out the way I did. But I guess whatever you choose, you gotta live with. And really, love is only one aspect of your life. That will always come to you one way or another. You've got to find your true path in life. And your true path is not who you're going to have sex with, not if you're going to have a girlfriend. I mean, things like this don't even matter. It really doesn't. It's good to procreate and do things like that, but you got to have a good world to procreate in. So you got to find out where you're the most productive and useful. To me, I guess I'm more productive is because I hung around. I was raised kind of old fashioned and I hang around old people. This is what I do. This is what I am. I hang around, some of my best friends are 90 years old. So I go in their room, I yap with them, I talk with them, and I show them pictures of Chong and stuff. And I get a lot of good advice from these 90-year-old people. Because anyone who's lived long enough has the best advice on the planet. I met a person at work, and I'll never forget her. I swear she is dead. I wish she was 95 and I started taking care of her, but she met Hitler. She literally was there when he was giving his presidential speech. And she showed me pictures of the apartment she had. And she was in Germany when Adolf Hitler was, before he was president. And she was going to college in Germany. And she lived in the United States. You, I mean, my God, that has to be epic in anybody's life. One of an iconic figure that changed the course of history. I mean, I'm not glorifying what he did. I'm not. But for that lady to say that she's seen and heard and talked to him before he was president and see his speech, it was pretty epic. And I like to share in people's stories when, older people's stories because they show you history. They show you how history came and fell. And to me, I feel that's a gift. It's a gift to us. And they'll share life experience. But people always, they're going to take advantage of you. They want to see your boundaries and they want to test them. And I've heard this from countless old people. Countless old people. And these old people are relentless. They do not let anybody test their boundaries and they will tell you off in 3 seconds or less. And trust me, I'm just like them. So we get along very well. And if you listen to people, other women will tell you that. So that's the best advice I can give you about that. Set your boundaries. Tell him to grow up. And you're living. You want to live a good, happy, positive life, not with people that are going to lie to you and tell. And you want to tell. And you demand the truth. And if he cannot give you the truth, then you can't live in a lie. Because once we live in a lie, you get in a web of deceit. It's like being in the middle of a spider web and a nice juicy spider's looking at you for dinner. You're in a spider web the entire time. And the spider's poking at you. But you don't see you're in the spider web and it keeps poking and biting you as it cocoons you. This is what relationships are. It's like being a spider's last meal. Or no, one of his meals, depending how big the spider is. But this is why you have to live it within truth. Because truth is truth. And you gotta hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's what I've had a lot of 100-year-olds tell me this. I had a lady that was 106 years old using the bathroom tell me, "Oh, Michelle, you gotta hope for the best and prepare for the worst." And I'm like, and she's sitting there taking 30 minutes to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, okay. I like, I'm like, what the fuck? And she just sitting there and she just like, and then she tells me, she goes, I gotta go slow so I don't fall. So I'm hoping for the best, prepare for the worst. So she told me that's a good life philosophy. And it stuck with me because it's true shit here. So I always hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So I would do that in this situation. And if he says anything, just say, you know what? I got to protect myself. I do it all the time. I'm married and I do it. I tell him this is why I still work. I tell him this is why I won't stop working. Because a man could leave you at any time for any reason. You gotta remember this. They could be rich and famous or whatever, or millions of dollars. You know, yippee yippee. But if they choose to leave you, if you have no set income, they can have full control over your life also. You gotta have you gotta be at a mindset when your relationship that you could take you and your child and tell him to go get fucked. And you could do that with a medical job. You could do that with an office job in the courts in this country. As long as a mother, even if the guy's super rich, is working a job and has a stable income, you could get an equal partnership or the equal custody partnership they call with the child. And then let's say he's rich and goes out of town. Yeah, I found this out when I got divorced, so and if he's rich and goes out of town, one person gets custodial parent and one person gets visitation. So which means you get one third of their income. And you receive one third of your income and you keep your job at you gotta have a steady full time job. You know, you get your office job or your medical job and you enjoy it. You have your barbecues like I do, and you do your thing. And when that man takes his millions of dollars and gets a new girl, or whatever the situation may be, you just say, okay, I'm still taking one third of your income. This is what you do. And this is how you become successful in life in general. And this is how I was able to always move on. Because people find it stupid having a 9 to 5. I hear this all the time with YouTubers. They always say that, oh, I don't want a 9 to 5. It's like, why? Especially if you're a woman, my God, you could take that YouTuber for everything they're worth. Because you got a 9 to 5 and you have as much rights in that relationship as the man. And a judge does not look at what you do as long as it's a good, credible career. Like if you're a porn star, the judge would probably give full custody to the guy. But let's just say you're an office manager and you're married to a superstar. You guys don't get along. Judge is going to say, well, she's kept a job for this long. You go out of town these days, she gets custodial period. You get one third of that man's income. Because the judge is going to say, well, not everyone could be a superstar, so you get the superstar's income. I mean, it sounds horrible, but this is how you got to think because men are not giving out their money no more like they used to. Getting back to my friend that has his business, that every time he accidentally thinks he might have got her pregnant, he makes her take this morning after pill. He makes sure that she does not get any part of his money, and she will never be a benefactor of his money, but she can have his body. I call bullshit on that because if she gets pregnant, he's going to give her money when he feels like he gets it because she signed an agreement. And he hasn't even mentioned marriage. And when he does, it's always in the future and it's never, I got a ring on your finger or let's start with a small joint account. No, it's none of that. She still actually has to have an apartment because he don't want her to live in his house. So I I like him as a person, I guess, but I don't like the way he treats women. No. And I've told him that I'm a chauvinist and I don't like how men operate these days. I sometimes think they got super egos, and just because they want a lot of sex, I feel that they use women, and I don't like that. I don't like anybody that uses anybody. I find it very offensive, and I don't agree with it, and I never will agree with it. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and take my break, and us women got to stick together because we really do. And even all the men that feel they were wrong, we got to stick together with them too. So I feel that way in the world, and I feel that we all have to empower each other. So I try to empower you guys with good thoughts to make you know that you're worth something, even if no one thinks you are. I mean, I'm over here. I try to come up with hairstyles every day and do my little stuff, but it makes me happy. I'm not a superstar, but it makes me happy. And you got to go out there and do what makes you happy, and that's it. And if it and try to benefit humanity and mankind in general as you're doing it. Don't say I can't do it. Just try to make your mark. Because when you get 90 and 100 years old, you're too old to make your mark. You're sitting there talking about telling some aide, literally as you're taking a half hour to go to the bathroom when you're this age, saying prepare for the worst and hope for the best, and then a half hour later you get back from the bathroom. This is what happens when you're 90 and 100. So while you're young, make your mark. Even if you think it's a small mark, it doesn't matter. Make it. Even if you only save one thing, you could maybe start as chain reaction. Because I have a touch of autism and I work a lot, but I'm trying to make a mark. And that's just it. So I know when I die and I'm telling some aide as I'm walking to the damn toilet that I'm preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. I know I did what I set out to do that was going to make me happy, and I could die in my sleep and be happy. But this is what you have to do because the end will come. If you like it or not, the end's coming. And the Reaper's coming for you, he's coming for me, he's coming from everybody eventually. But if you have a fulfilled life, death doesn't bother you so much, I guess. That's, I mean, my best piece of advice like that. And like I said, some of my best friends mostly are over 80. So when you're talking to someone that talks to all older people about the stuff they've been through, this is what I go through. And I deal with a lot of Jewish people. I've taken care of people that got a number on their skin. I I've dealt with it all. This is why I'm so big on humanity. I took care of a lot of people that had numbers on them that were in Nazi camps. So you never know who the person you're looking at went through looking through their eyes. And I didn't even know until I gave this guy a bed bath that he literally was in Nazi Germany with Hitler in his regime torturing him. And he had to watch his mother die and his sister being tortured and raped and his family starving to death, and it was him and his other sister that survived. So you never know what people have been through in their hardships. So be respectful to everybody, because people were rude to him because he had attitude. I guess I would too. If I was starved to death and my parents were murdered and out of all the siblings, it was his younger sister and him survived. And then he goes, ends up in a nursing home with some rude ass people bothering him. I mean, these are just the facts of life that I've seen firsthand. And, and I'm just here to remind everybody also that people, never know who you're talking to or what they went through or what they were associated with. That's the thing too. That's why I'm respectful of everybody, no matter what. There was German soldiers over there that did not like Hitler, did not like him, and some of them were hiding Jewish people. The enemy was helping the enemy at times. It's tough times. So when you go to look in the eyes of somebody, don't judge and look at them, because just because they're a German soldier and fighting the war doesn't mean they weren't forced. So sometimes you got to think about that too. So I'm always mindful of everybody and everything, and I'm grateful of everything because I've looked through the eyes of a lot of people. And some people had sad eyes and some people didn't. And the more sorrow you go through to live and you find a reason to live is your most fulfilled people. So, I mean, I can't give you that. But what is it now? 7. I'm going to take a half-hour break and come back on because he's probably not going to get home until like 9. So we got plenty of time. So I'll be back, and thank you for listening and everything. And I hope I made sense and gave you clarity. I mean, like I said, my best friends are 90 and 100. And they seem to know about more relationships than I will ever in my lifetime know about, because old people know a lot. So, all right, I will be back, and thank you. And if you're subscribed, it'll just show up.